We continue to have a lot going on over at CNBC, which I'm enjoying watching very much. Jim Cramer has long been freaking out about Sean Fain and the auto workers, et cetera, which I've been eating up. But CNBC hosted a very interesting debate between a former National Labor Relations Board official who was backing the workers in their demands and a Chamber of Commerce official who is very much on the other side of this. Let's take a listen to some of that.
But you point out about the booming profits. And my question is, past performance is no guarantee of the future. Do you think the outlook is bright for the big three for booming profits to continue from here on?
Well, I certainly think that the outlook will be brighter if the companies treat their workers in a way that's fair. And there are a lot of variables that will determine the future of the auto sector. Let's remember that labor costs are actually a very small part of these companies' costs. When, as you recounted, the union did make great concessions to save this industry, the companies have increased CEO pay at a very rapid rate. They have given out billions of dollars in stock buybacks.
It would be one thing if the focus were talking about how we share in the future growth and profit of the automakers. But listen, the UAW is looking for a 40% pay raise. They want workers to be paid for 5 days when they only work for 4. They want to return to defined benefit pension systems. That is a recipe to put these companies into bankruptcy, and that serves no one interest. I think the question we have to ask is, why do they feel so emboldened? This actually isn't the first time we've seen demands like this. It's been the summer of strikes, and this is a bit of a pattern. And unfortunately, I think it's being fueled in part by the Biden administration and this push for unionization at all costs.
I'm not hearing a lot of concern about increasing CEO pay, increasing stock buybacks.
But that's just optics. If you take the 20 or 25 or 30 million, that's de minimis for what we're talking about, the success of the company. Maybe optically it looks bad, and it's a politics of envy and everything else, but you take a defined benefit, put that back in, 32-hour work week, a 40% pay raise. I mean, the CEO issue, that's just a talking point.
Why is it a talking point? I mean, he got paid that amount of money. Is it true or is it not? The entire thing is just absolutely ridiculous.
I also like the way the Chamber of Commerce guy is accidentally making the Biden administration sound really great. It's like, why? It's the summer of strikes. I think Joe Biden has a lot to do with it. Like, he's encouraging unionization at all costs. I mean, listen, I support some of what's been done by this administration, but I would not frame it in quite that way. No. But yeah, I love that because you have to CNBC's audience is a different kind of animal, but in terms of the general public, 75% of people support this strike. Mm-hmm. Record-breaking numbers of people support unions. So when they hear the summer of strikes and it's Joe Biden, it's because of Joe Biden and his policies, I don't think that that's landing quite the way that he wants it to outside of the CNBC audience and the anchor there.
It's also a very unfair thing that people do. I mean, you and I know this whenever we host a debate or something like that. You can't just rule out some of the ground that somebody is arguing on, especially if it's legit. I mean, if you bring up a totally irrelevant point, you could be like, okay, well, but it's a very basic point. It's like your pay has gone up by X amount. You have paid out Y amount in shareholders, effectively the exact same cost of what this raise would be. So instead of producing a dividend or paying out and buying stock buybacks to artificially juice the price, why don't you use that to pay the workers more and we can make better cars and have a happier workforce and we don't have any shutdown or strike? I mean, that's not a talking point. That's a very basic line of argumentation. It's why even investors and even people like Mark Cuban have been come out against stock buybacks, because they're like, it's an irrelevant action that doesn't have anything to do with the actual productive capacity of the company. It's why they were even illegal for so many years in the U.S.
It's just financial engineering, and it's just like a kickback to yourself.
To the executives.
And to the executives who, thanks to a Clinton-era loophole, their compensation is largely in stock, so that they don't have to pay taxes on it, again, thanks to a Clinton-era loophole. So that's how all of that works. But he also, the anchor, made this point at the beginning, what, you think the big three are going to do fine with profits and you think past performance is indicative of future performance? And it's like, you could always use that. You could use that as an excuse also to not pay the CEO. You think that because things have been going well, you think things are just going to continue to go well? These workers have a track record that they can point to of when things were bad for the automakers. Guess what? They took a huge haircut. They took layoffs. They took a big hit to their pensions. They got rid of cost of living increases. And that's why these demands now seem so large. It's because they have been so screwed and set back over years. And of course, at the time, the thought was, all right, you guys bail us out now. And that's what it was. It was a worker-funded bailout of these auto companies and their executives. You guys bail us out now, and we got you in the future when we return to profitability.
Right.
That never happened. And so for them to then turn around and say, oh, what, you think now that they're profitable, they're just always going to be profitable forever, is such incredible garbage. But yeah, I love to see the Chamber of Commerce guy trying to spin this. And I mean, even on CNBC, his points look pretty weak.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very foolish moment, I think, for all of them.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.